a couple of others joining us now. Florida Congressman Mike Waltz, member of the Trump House assassination attempt probe, and my pal Chad Wolf, former DHS secretary and executive director of AFPI. Gentlemen, welcome on set. It's just us kids here. It's great to be with you. I interviewed Speaker Johnson. You saw it. Mike did not see it. I want the rest of the world to see it. Here's a part of that interview coming up. Play some tape.
How is it possible, what has transpired, that there has not been a presidential order to give Trump full presidential protection? How is this possible? I'm outraged by this.
We should be outraged, and we're making every demand for that to happen. The Secret Service, as you've seen reported, suggests that they have a manpower shortage. And look, this is about allocation of resources. I'm not so sure it's a funding issue, but Congress will be willing to do what's necessary. And it goes all the way to the top. And so you'll see us demanding that this week. We've got to protect our 45th president, who I believe is going to be the 47th.
Okay, gentlemen. Mike Waltz, I'll begin with you.
Yeah.
Chad Wolf heard this morning. We're going to get to him in a second. How is it possible? Seriously, Trump's going back on the campaign trail. He's going to be in Michigan today. He's going to be in Long Island, New York tomorrow. We had Senator Rand Paul, Senator Tommy Tuberville on this show last night. I was broadcasting from New York, as usual. They both are very concerned that another assassination attempt may be made, and yet, no presidential security protection is in place for Mr. Trump.
So here's the disconnect. The director of the Secret Service briefed the task force last Thursday that Biden ordered both Harris and Trump to receive the same level of protection. But yet we hear the Palm Beach sheriff saying, look, we haven't locked this thing down in the same way. So that's one. Then number two, I have agents telling me that there's a lot of them that would like to travel more, want more overtime, would love to kind of surge to the president and make sure this never happens again. And then finally, my pushback to the director was, we can pour all the resources we want in there, all the manpower that we want, but if you have agents that aren't following protocols, if you have leadership that's doing stupid things like leaving a high-rise building outside of a chain link fence, if you have a protocol, a standard operating procedure problem, we need assurances that, number one, that's been fixed. Number two, you've squeezed all the efficiency you can out of your existing agency. And then three, I think they need to go to a completely new model. It needs to be threat-based when you have foreign and domestic threats rather than you're the current president, you're the former. I mean, treating Trump like Jimmy Carter in terms of the size of their details is just totally unacceptable. So we need to see changes before we just start pouring money.
Chad Wolf, so you were Secretary of DHS. That's where Secret Services play. Can I just ask you, what Congressman Waltz said at the very beginning, Biden is saying, let me get this right, that Harris and Trump are getting the same amount of protection. Is that the same as President Biden gets?
No, it's not.
So that's a phony answer. So that avoids the whole point.
The sitting president gets a very different security package, different security bubble than even the vice president and certainly former presidents, right? I agree with the congressman. This needs to be threat-based. President Trump definitely has a different threat picture than Vice President Harris. Not to say that she doesn't have threats. Right. It's just a different security and threat picture. And so the resources need to be allocated as such. I heard Secretary Mayorkas just 20 minutes ago say it's a similar level than what Vice President Harris has. That's not answering the question, right? You need the same level in protection as President Biden, right? Because if President Biden goes to that same golf course, guess what? That perimeter is swept several times.
The outside, too. The outside of the court,
inside, outside, several times before he ever arrives, right? And that's based off of just him being president, not actually the threat picture against him. It's just that's what they do for presidents. The model of the service, particularly now, and Trump is different, needs to be reconstructed, right? They are very regimented. I love all the agents out there. They're great. Leadership is very regimented in how they look at this because they are concerned. They haven't told me this, but I know this. They are concerned about the precedent that this then puts them under when other former presidents require a security package like this.
Do you think they're concerned about a third assassination attempt? And providentially, Trump has survived too. Right. I don't know how long that holds out. whether it's God's work or
But
luck's
here's the
work or
point
whatever.
back to the president,
Really?
former president kind of paradigm that they seem to be very stuck in. The current president isn't going anywhere. I mean, he's going to Rehoboth and sitting on the beach. So I've talked to agents on the detail that are saying, hey, we're working once every 10 days right now. We're ready to go down. And then number two, we've never had a foreign enemy, the Ayatollahs in Iran, with active and ongoing intelligence officers, operatives, and the full power that they're throwing behind trying to kill President Trump. What have we heard from the Biden administration about Iran? We haven't even, I mean, not even a condemnation, not even a strongly worded letter, much less consequences for one of our enemies trying to kill not just President Trump, but half of his cabinet. Pompeo,
right.
Bolton, O'Brien,
Yep.
all of them.
Yep.
It's totally unacceptable, but this passive non-response from Biden and his team, you want to talk about a precedent, what precedent is that setting?
Chad Wolf, I asked Speaker Johnson, I asked him if he had, I mean, he's the Speaker of the House. Right. Have you asked President Biden why he hasn't given full presidential protection to Mr. Trump? He said he can't get to him. Said he can't get to him. It has to go
amazing.
Staff to staff. You heard it. You were sitting in the front row.
Yeah.
I was pretty shocked at that, too. I don't know. Maybe we'll find, was that in that tape? Or maybe we'll find where he actually says that. But my point is, these are emergencies. By the way, this will damage the entire country. This will damage both political parties. If Trump is actually wounded or worse, okay, I mean, the ear was bad enough.
The wheels will come off the country.
The wheels will come off the country.
You don't even need the president to do this.
Get that?
You need the Secretary of DHS, right? All the Secret Service director has to do is to go to the
Mayorkas could do
Secretary
it.
and say, hey, here's what we need to do. We need to reallocate agents. We need to reallocate resources to President Trump's detail. And that could be done within the department.
Where's he? I haven't seen him in years. Where's Mayorkas?
It's a great question.
Huh?
It's a
Have
great
you seen
question.
I don't know.
Mayorkas?
I wish he would go. We impeached him.
Have you ever played cards with him or a gin game or a little bridge or anything like tennis match?
Secure the border, secure the president.
I didn't realize
Department
that.
of Homeland Security.
So the DHS secretary could do it.
Yeah.
on
They have
his
a
own.
counterfeiting mission. And
Well, why don't you
pull
all
him off the
call
counterfeiting
his
mission.
you-know-what in front of the hearing and say point blank? Huh?
Yeah.
All right, good.
Issue the subpoenas. Let's go.
Issue the subpoenas. There we have it. All right, Chad Wolf. Thank you, Congressman Mike Waltz. Thank you very much.